Matt Stafford, as recently as this morning, reported by Adam Schefter, is dealing with a back injury. And the back injury has been known, and it's known that it's considered week to week. But more details have come out, and he's aggravated a disc in his back, and even had to get an epidural to help deal with the pain. Now, as a guy, most guys don't know what an epidural is because most of the time you hear from it from like a giving birth perspective, not to get into detail, but epidurals essentially make you paralyzed. Like you don't feel anything with an epidural. I got an epidural when I had my ACL surgery because I don't like going under. And so I couldn't feel my lower half of my body for like 8 hours after getting an epidural. And so he's getting that to relieve pain in his back. That is not good. That is not good at all for Matt Stafford and the LA Rams because the other aspect of this is he's already an older quarterback. And so a bad back scares me. Like backs are an injury that linger. Backs are an injury that can get re-aggravated and flare up and cause problems for a long period of time. They stick around. They're not easy fixes. It's not like you broke your hand or you broke your foot and you wear a cast, potentially get surgery or put pins in it, but backs just linger. They're very sensitive aspects of your body and they're crucial for a quarterback. The amount of torque it takes when you're throwing a ball, especially at the velocity and the power that Matt Stafford does, you need to have your entire body in as good a health as possible to be able to be as effective as he can. And he was drafted in 2009, right? He was the first pick in 2009. He's 37 years old. That's older than I am. And, for me, as you get older, it becomes harder and harder to recover. It becomes harder and harder to get into shape and be able to play at the top level. And for me, it's interesting because I've seen a lot of the NFL pundits purely because of the addition of, I would say, Devontae Adams. And the season that the Rams had a really good season last season. I'll give them that. They were very productive. But also, what I'll say is Matt Stafford didn't necessarily have the best year last year either. He had a little over 3,700 yards, right? So less than 4,000 yards, which doesn't happen often in his career, more often than not recently, and that's kind of what I'm getting to. He had 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last year. He was dealing with injuries from time to time last year. He's a tough player though, right? One thing I will say about Matt Stafford is he is tough. He is gritty, and he will be out there on the field as much as humanly possible. I can't tell you how many clips I've seen of Matt Stafford dealing with insane injuries and staying out there in order to keep a drive alive or to win a game, right? And so for me, you can have that heart, you can have that grit, but a bad back is a bad back. Matt Stafford is on the wrong side of 30 for me, getting to 40 really. So for me, I don't know if we're ever going to see the Matt Stafford of old anymore. Sadly, I don't. Again, the last 3 years have been a little bit more lackluster in his career. 2022, he only played in 9 games and he had like 2,000 yards, but he played in 15 games in 2023 and he played in 16 games in 2024. But again, still never topped 4,000 yards. And so at the age of 37, are you really expecting him to have a bounce back year? Are you really expecting him to have another 4,000 yard year? I really struggle to believe that. It's kind of like when the pundits are talking about Aaron Rodgers to me. I don't understand why people think Aaron Rodgers is going to have this insane impact on the Steelers and suddenly they're a Super Bowl contender. I think they're a great team. I think they have a really good shot at making the playoffs just because they're Pittsburgh. But it doesn't have anything to do with Aaron Rodgers. And so for me, the Rams are kind of in the same boat, right? They have a very young defense, though. I will say their defense is super talented, and that's going to be their saving grace. But they need Matt Stafford to be Matt Stafford in order to be a playoff team. And I don't know if that's going to be the case after this injury. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, tell me your takes. This is Bad Takes from Bad Takes in Football, signing out.